Good afternoon. We have a special presentation now with the Storage Network Industry Association. And I'd like to introduce their executive director, Michael Oros. As many of you know, SNIA is the leading group for vendor-neutral standards and industry promotions. I, like many of you who are in the audience that I've seen, were involved in the start of the Storage Network Industry Association, and it has grown into this multi-billion-dollar industry and something we can all be very proud of. Michael has 25 years of experience in the high-tech industry and oversees the group's industry collaboration, standards, and educational efforts. Michael, who's going to come up here in a moment, just learned that I was involved as the chief architect for SNIA for the certification program. That was 18 years ago, and I'm very proud of what the leadership the SNIA has shown for providing the education and career path for storage network professionals. Before joining SNIA, Michael held positions at Intel, where he oversaw technology initiatives and collaboration on open standards. He played a key role in many important industry transitions and standards, including PCI Express, InfiniBand, Open Fabrics, and Open Data Center Alliance. Michael earned his BS and MBA in International Business from United States International University. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Oros.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Great to be back at FMS. We're full house here. We're excited to partner with this conference. SNIA is hopefully, many of you know us. How many in the audience are familiar with what SNIA does? Raise your hands. All right, good amount. We'll bring that percentage up. Want everyone leaving here in the know. So what do we do? As an organization, we really exist for the mutual benefit of our members, which really is you. Our goal is to be the global trusted source for all things storage. As we know, all roads lead to data, because data needs to be analyzed, stored, processed, monetized. At SNIA, we look at data as information. We treat it as such. And this is important because we have that mentality on how do we facilitate through our work the efficient management, movement, and security of that information. So, what is it that we do? As an organization, obviously, we do standards. Standards for storage, specifically. We develop them. We get competitors. Imagine this. How the fun challenges that we face is getting competitors together in the same room to work collaboratively on standards for the mutual benefit of the industry. Sometimes creating new markets and new technologies that are then brought to market, but by each of your individual companies. We do take many of those standards and also submit them to ISO for international certification. And we also do open source software. Yes, this is one of the lesser known things in SNIA's portfolio, but we do have mechanisms by which we enable and run open source development to accelerate adoption of those technologies. Now, if you're going to do standards, you have to do, there's a reason you do them, and you do them because you want interoperability of multi-vendor solutions. So towards that goal, we do also run plugfests and conformance testing for majority of our specs. And sometimes we collaborate and work with other industry players that have their own standards and help them run plugfest or conformance programs. As we know, when new technologies are introduced, one of the key things that you have to do is educate people on that new technology. The more people that understand it, the more people can take it to the next step and innovate further in that domain. So we do have special interest groups that SNIA runs, which that is their goal, is to promote technologies like flash, persistent memory, storage management technologies, and so forth. And that vendor collaboration is absolutely key during that process, and that's where we have a structure to maintain vendor neutrality in that development and promotion of the technology as opposed to a particular implementation of it from a vendor. Which brings us to one of the fourth pillars in SNIA that we focus on, which is that global vendor-neutral education. And that is a multitude of webcasts and tutorials that we do that are peer-reviewed, again, for neutrality, so they don't have a slant towards a particular vendor or even towards a particular technology. We want it to be accurate and neutral in the way we look at it and truly focus on the benefits and its shortfalls. Not everything, a particular technology is not great for absolutely everything. And we want to make sure that people are educated and understand those things. We do also have a certification course for IT professionals in storage. Again, this is a vendor-neutral approach to getting a certification in storage. So, SNIA's been around for over 20 years. What are our areas of focus and the things that we do? It is vast. One of the things that is at everyone's tops of mind these days is persistent memory. It's the next big thing that is already here, by the way, in terms of implementation of persistent memory. It is here, it's supported by multiple operating vendors, and software vendors are starting to take advantage and leverage it. But there are new media technologies coming into play that are persistent in their nature, and they're such that they are in the memory category. So there's constant innovation that needs to occur. This is one of the key areas that is going to change dramatically the face of the industry, including the services that you will be developing or consuming over the next years. In terms of other areas, we do the physical storage aspect, looking at solid state storage, hyperscaler, object, and let's not forget those important aspects of making everything working and deployable, which are the connectors, form factors, and transceivers. This is a group that's joined SNIA about 2 years ago and has been able to grow the number of companies that are participating to over 50 that are innovating and putting out new specs in 6 or 9 months, an incredible, efficient way of bringing new specifications in that domain to market, enabling standards for the industry and collaboration in that area. Now, you have to also be able to deliver on data management, the protection, integrity, security of it. Cloud continues to see a lot of innovation in that area around data orchestration in particular, and how you get data in and out of the cloud. Believe it or not, tape is still being used for that process. SNIA is one of the specs that we do is LTFS, file system for tape. We also have our range of involvement in the industry on policy as well. So working with government on energy efficiency. So SNIA Emerald program has been around for a long time. EPA and many other such organizations around the world utilize the Emerald program as a foundation for what then becomes policy, and you as vendors actually get measured and structured by on how you operate in that context of a global economy and the responsive nature of being energy efficient in our products and services that we offer. In terms of next generation data center, given the amount of data growth and explosion, we need to be more efficient and effective in how we manage data. So in this area, a lot of innovation and work that's happening under SNIA. Of course, the network storage has been our backbone and some of the foundational start to SNIA. And of course, the storage management technologies that are absolutely critical in enabling software and other users and on how to efficiently deploy and manage the storage technologies that you develop. Technical work group, I know in the back you won't be able to read this. In fact, in the front you may still be challenged to read it, but these slides will be available. This gives you an idea of the technical specs that are underway, active this year in SNIA in each of those domains that I covered. And no, I wasn't able to put all of them on this slide. In terms of the technology communities, we talked about communities being important to educate and promote and also utilize their common strength to accelerate development of certain standards. These are the active communities inside SNIA today: cloud storage, Ethernet storage, green storage, solid state, storage management, and the transceivers and form factors. These are actively looking on how to effectively work together, create new markets, or accelerate new technologies to market. In terms of why join SNIA? If it hasn't become apparent to you from what I've described in terms of the work that we do, influence. It's your way of being able to lead in the industry, influence the direction of spec development, features that you are looking to include in your services and offering, getting the rest of the industry to collaborate around them. And what is better than being able to work with a group of other people from the industry that can bring diverse viewpoints and be more creative, faster to market, and come up with a better solution than any one or two people or companies would have been able to come up on their own. We also do our education. We sometimes forget that someone helped us learn. Sometimes it was time and experience, but others had a role in our development and learning. And we should take an active role in educating the next generation of storage developers. And this is one of the ways that SNIA does it. We hold events, much like this one, but even more technically focused. Storage Developer Conference has been around for more than 20 years now. It's coming up in September. It's a by developers for developers conference. Very technical, get nice deep into both current and new technologies that are just starting to be looked at. Persistent Memory Summit is coming up in January. Again, encourage you guys to participate. It'll be held right here at the Hyatt next door in January. It's where all the leaders and the thought leaders on persistent memory come together to share what's happened in the last year, what are we going to do in the next year, and what are the critical pivot points in that space. And also certification that I mentioned for IT professionals. A long list of ways for you to interact and participate with SNIA. I encourage you to subscribe to our newsletters, join us on Twitter, and keep up to date on everything that we do. Last, just to highlight our activities at FMS here. Look forward to having you guys learn more about persistent memory in one of our tracks. The flexible form factor, the EDSFF spec that many of you have heard over the last year, is now turned over to SNIA to be standardized and brought further into the industry. And of course, our testing and performance analysis, all the products that you guys develop, how do you actually, in a standard way, look at and develop a consistent measuring methodology for performance? Please join us for those, and hope to see you as a member of SNIA and participating at our events. We do have membership opportunities for you guys all the way from the billion-plus dollar company revenue-wise, all the way to the startup. So thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you at one of our events.